Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Let me tell you something, family. We got a lot to discuss. We have a lot. Matter of fact, let me go ahead. Let me grab my chapstick right here. My lips is a little chapped right here. Let me make sure. There we go. Got to make sure that make sure the lips are chapped. Got a lot to. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and grab a swig. Oh, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, man. It's juicy. It is juicy. Look, my friends, thank you so much for tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. Thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune in to yet another great conversation. We got a lot to discuss this evening. Want to shout out our viewers streaming us right now on YouTube, Rumble, or Goatverse TV. Shout out. I want to thank you so much for continued support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. I truly appreciate it. For those who are watching, hit the like button, subscribe. Please do. I truly appreciate that. Also, subscribe to our Rumble channel as well. And if you haven't downloaded the Goatverse TV app, please do so, because it's an amazing thriving independent streaming network that yours truly is a part of, alongside other great programs. Please download the app today. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire. Shout out for those who listen to us. We're available on all podcast platforms. Shout out to those who are listening to us in the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays, weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. Also, I want to shout out our listeners in the Metro Atlanta area by way of WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune to the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look, shout out to all of our amazing listeners, man. We are continue to grow, as I mentioned before. Look, we're growing each and every day. And if you haven't found out about the great news, look, we created a wonderful website for you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show through there, as well as contact me through there as well. The website is www.theagshow.com. AG, obviously Arrington Gavin. Okay, so be sure to check out that website if you want to get familiar, know a little more about myself, and if you just new to the program. Like I said, if you would like to message me through there as far as some ideas, topics, stuff that if you want me to discuss a certain thing, please, you can message me through there. Also, here's the direct email: info@theagshow.com. It's that simple. info@theagshow.com. So if you would like to contact me personally, you can do so by emailing me. I truly appreciate that. Also, for those who are listening and very involved in the social media space, look, we're on social media as well. Follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, all under the same name at the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also subscribe to our Substack page, because having an hour-long program. Look, I te- I get so, passionate in a discussion, and I lose track of time, and I'm like, damn it, let me go ahead and move this to our Substack page. So look, we have some great post content, as well as opinionated pieces that I've written. Just, just stuff that hits the mind, that hits the heart at a random moment, because so much stuff happens in our digital and our news feeds on a regular, each and every moment. So you can check us out on Substack, and yeah, I truly appreciate that. So instead of doing, my friends, a fun fact of the day, uh I want to acknowledge a Black excellence report. All right, a Black excellence report. So today's Black excellence report is acknowledging one of the great professional athletes, a growing sensation, by the way. I believe this is just her third year, second or third. No, this is probably just her second year in the WNBA. I'm talking about the one and only Angel Reese, entrepreneur, WNBA star. Recently, she had became the fastest player in the WNBA history, to hit 500 points and 500 rebounds in just 38 games. Let me repeat myself. For those, again, for the folks in the back that probably didn't hear me. Angel Reese, star basketball player out of LSU, currently plays for the Chicago Sky. Podcaster, like I said, businesswoman. She stays getting the bag, right? She recently became the fastest woman in the WNBA history to hit 500 points and 500 rebounds in just 38 games. Put some respect on it. You ever heard that 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 viral video, that video on YouTube where it's like an acapella group saying, "Put some respect on it." Doom, doom, doom. Put some respect. You better put some respect on her name. In the words of Birdman, put some respect. All three of you, put some respect, not respect. That man said respect with a K, with a capital K. Especially that the Chicago Sky obviously is off to a tough start this current season. But again, Angel Reese is continuing to break barriers, and we just want to acknowledge her because, look, I'm not trying to be involved in the whole debate between who's better, who's popular, who's getting more mistreated. This the whole Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, because it's almost like a MJ, a Michael Jordan and LeBron kind of debate. Not saying one is better than the other, but it's just like, good gracious, it's in sports. You always have to have the back and forth, the prime debate. Who's the best quarterback of all times in the NFL? Who is the greatest basketball player of all times? Who's the greatest organization? Who's the greatest WNBA? Like, it's like their everybody has their debates, right? Everybody has their cover. And Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark will forever be a long lasting, just never ending debate. But here on the Arrington Gavin Show, as I mentioned earlier, I just want to acknowledge and shout out Angel Reese, who I hope to, have on the show in the future. She, again, making history. She's going to continue to make history, man. She is not between, she had helped build, and she's continued to helping build the WNBA brand. Why? Because check this out. She already had millions of followers before she was in the WNBA. She was already making millions of dollars before she was in the NBA. She made more money outside of the league than she does as a player. She helped build up those numbers during the WNBA draft and continue to do so. So we want to acknowledge them for doing great work. Let's see. Let me look at my time here. My friends, we are going to take a quick commercial break. We come back. We have a lot of stuff to discuss, man. I mean, folks that are, long-standing Republicans leaving the party to join the left. We have long-standing left-leaning elected officials leaving the I mean, it's like everybody's leaving their forever party that they've been, you know, uh involved in and they've been committed to for so many years. Now they're leaving, and we also have some added news. Look, we just got stuff for you, okay? All right. So look, my friends, do not go anywhere. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm your host, Arrington Gavin. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to.
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Welcome back, family. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. First headline I want to discuss here is Maxine Waters. Some people call her Auntie Maxine. She is a long-standing elected official representing the state of California in the House of the Congress. Okay, she's a long standing congresswoman representing California. Maxine Waters recently was in some hot water. Now, Maxine has always been a very vocal person, which, hey, I always love a good, passionate politician, someone that doesn't BS the American people. But Maxine, I've always been back and forth with Maxine. Like, I am no Trump fan by any means. Maxine has been a huge critic of the current president right now. She has she refused to sit during his first State of the Union for a second term because she knows the kind of individual he is, which I'm like, hey, look, I got nothing against that. But at the end of the day, I always say this: you can't criticize one and you're also doing wrong things on your side. Can't have that. That's called? It's called hypocrisy. And yet we see a lot of elected officials, or a number, I won't say a lot, but a number of elected officials doing something like that. Now, I'm not saying her whole years in politics have been like that, but I'm just saying Maxine, who's 86 years old, by the way, I'm critical when it comes to the age in the House and the Senate. She's 86 years old. She's older than Joe Biden. Goodness gracious. Anyway, I'm gonna read you this report. This is a recent report about Fox News. Says here that Maxine Waters campaigns to pay $68,000 for violating campaign finance laws. Now, Citizens for Waters agrees to pay civil fine and send treasurer to training after FEC probe in 2020 campaign violation. Now, let me read you this. Now, she recently had agreed, obviously, to pay the $68,000 fine after an investigation found it violated multiple election rules. Again, we got to practice what we preach. When we talk about when we talk about investigations happening, it was an investigation and it found violations. Set aside, I know I'm here reporting something from Fox News. I know a lot of y'all like saying, "Oh my gosh, how can you even look?" How do you trust any of the platforms nowadays? Like, I'm critical. I'm critical to Fox News just as much as I'm critical to CNN, just as much as I'm critical to MSNBC, just as much as I'm critical to any publication, because guess what? Majority of them, in an instant now, obviously Fox News got the the first place trophy on that case because they recently had to pay a huge amount of money. But let me continue. This says here the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission, said the longtime House lawmakers 2020 campaign committee, Citizens for Waters, ran afoul of several campaign finance laws in a tranche of documents released recently. Now, the FEC accused Citizens for Waters of failing the accurately report receipts and disturbance in calendar year 2020, knowingly accepting excessive contributions and making prohibited cash disbursements. Now, according to one document that appears to be a legally binding agreement that allows both parties to avoid going to court. Now, Waters Committee agreed to pay the civil fine as well as send its treasurer to a commission-sponsored training program for political committees within 1 year of the effective date of the agreement. So, I mean, basically, you want to keep this person. You did wrong, but we're going to send you to a program, to a training program, so we won't have this anymore. And look, I understand there's a lot of protocols when it comes to these groups, and it requires a lot of like, hey, look, you gotta properly know what to do in order not for this to not happen again. It says here, Citizens for Waters has accepted excessive campaign contributions from 7 people, totaling $19,000 in 2019 and 2020. Now, the investigation found, despite the maximum legal individual contribution being capped at $2,800, the committee offloaded, those excessive donations, albeit in a ultimate fashion. That's what the document said. So, once again, I mean, nothing to say, "Ooh, this will hurt her." This will, not be looked upon as, "Ooh, a good look" from her constituents. But look, this lady has been in office since 1991. Now, personally, this was a staffer. She couldn't have any control of it. They have a staff. But look, I got to talk about it because at the end of the day, you are the leader of your staff. You are in charge of your staff. What goes around comes around. That affects you, which it did. That's why I'm talking about it, Councilwoman. But at the end of the day, though, I will say this: 86 years old, you've been in office since 91. Now, I get it. Who's going, young people got to run, but also those who are still in office has to eventually say, okay, I'm not seeking re-election. And you have so many colleagues of yours, especially in your own party, saying, hey, I'm not seeking a re-election not seeking a re-election. Why are you still in office? Like, start looking for the next upcoming. I know you have I know you throughout the years you have encountered some great individuals that will be like, oh, this would be a great person to serve my seat, to be a successor of my seat. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not a fan of elected officials that are over 80 years old. I'm not a fan of them. They're over 75. In all honesty. And I'm not trying to be ageist here, even though it might be like, well, you sound pretty age. I'm not trying to be ageist. What I'm trying to say is there has to be new voices, fresh new voices, new ideas that are relatable to the majority. I'm just being honest, y'all. I'm just being honest. If you got a problem with that, hey, look, you can, y'all know how to contact me. Auntie, you tripping, man. I ain't appreciate that last part. You talking about Maxine. That's Auntie Maxine. Look, Auntie Maxine had her moments, but Auntie Maxine like to be seen too. I'm sorry. She gives me that I like to be seen kind of vibe. But she, that's again, she has the seniority, she has that power, she has that fan base. She's highly, highly liked in the Black community, at least of what I circles that I go around. But I do think it's time to start looking for another voice. So let me go ahead and move on from that and move it on to let me see here. Oh, this is a toss. So which story do I want to start with first? I'll start with this one first. So one thing I'm catching on, y'all, is that we're seeing a downfall really in both parties. As much as I've always said, ooh, we're the Democratic Party is really, I mean, because look, they are in a case the losing party after the election cycle, but we're seeing a downfall in both political parties, Republican and Democrat. This story caught my attention because for one thing I always remember is I had a gentleman on, I think his name was Chris Hines, Chris Hahn. I think it was Chris Hines. He let's see, where is okay, I thought I had a graphic here that I could show you. It looks like I don't. Oh, no worries. Well, anyway, he just said he sees a transition of both parties, like a lot of your quote unquote moderate Democrats are going to turn Republican. A lot of your more centrist Republicans are eventually going to become Democrat. And I'm just like, I mean, I see a difference between MAGA and establishment, just likewise progressives and the establishment. Like you have your longstanding established parties and longstanding folks that are dedicated to their party. Who's hey, I'm a regular Republican. Hey, I'm a Obama Democrat, or I'm a I don't know, I'm a Al Gore Democrat or something like that. Folks always have to put their abbreviation on certain things, or like explain exactly what kind of political position you are. Like I do it all the time, as far as saying, hey, fiscally conservative, socially liberal, right? I'm an independent. At times I can lean more left, but I'm always going to be in the middle because both parties really just get on my nerves. Okay, they get on my nerves. But this is an interesting story right here. So, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh recently announced that he is joining the Democratic Party. I feel like after a long spree of him criticizing his party, like a Tulsi Gabbard, but him criticizing his party, getting mostly airtime on liberal networks, MSNBC, CNN, going on Zateo News. I know he's spoken with, he's been on Roland Martin Unfiltered's program sometimes. He is, for he is just saying, I'm done. I'm done with the Republican Party. So this reported by the Washington Examiner says here that former Republican Representative Joe Walsh said he is joining the Democratic Party 5 years after he left the Republican Party. 5 years after he left the Republican Party. So he was an independent for a good solid 5 years, and he's like, I'm joining. Now, the first thing that came to my mind was like, okay, you left the Republican Party, which, hey, that's up to you. Become an independent. I got nothing against that. But now, after a certain period, you're joining the Democratic Party. The first thing that comes to mind is like, oh, are you running for office again? Are you thinking about running for a political position? Because that's what happens. Let me catch you on some political game here. And this is stuff that I've just visualized, right? I'm no strategist. I'm friends with a lot of folks within those spaces, but I just visualize. I'm like, when it comes to campaign, you have to have support. Which parties have a huge amount of support base money when it comes to running for office? Where can you really, Democrat or Republican? You don't get that kind of love in an independent party. Why? For some reason, which it just blows my mind. It really blows my freaking mind. If data shows that 60% of American people describe themselves as nonpartisan, as independent voters, folks that don't want a Republican or a Democrat, 60% of them describe themselves as independents, then why the hell is it so hard for independent candidates to win elections? Like, it always scratched my head like, but see, that's where the silliness starts to play. You know what I mean? That's where that starts to, So, Joe Walsh, going back to him, he came up in politics during the Tea Party movement, but he had since emerged as a vocal critic of Donald Trump. He said he was joining the party after 5 years of being an independent. In a post on his Substack page, Walsh wrote 3 words I've never thought I've ever uttered. I'm a Democrat. Elizabeth, I'm coming. Like, what? What? And I quote, it says here, the stakes are simply too high to not become a Democrat. Let me explain why. Let's start with the obvious. A tyrant sits in the White House. The very thing our founders feared most is here. Walsh said he was still the same passionate Tea Partier who went to Congress in 2010 to fight against our out of control debt and fight for more efficient government. I continue to quote, I'm still a border hawk, an unabashed gun rights activist, an unyielding defender of free speech, like myself. But I've opened my eyes and listened to people who don't think like me. And by doing so, I gain a greater understanding of and appreciation for the LGBTQ the LGBTQ issues, structural racism, the need for empathetic immigration reform, the dangers of climate change, and the role of government must play to help care the neediness and most vulnerable among us. Now, Walsh, who had served in the House representing Illinois' congressional district from 2011 to 2013, he has been an outspoken critic of Trump for the last 7 years. Walsh was a supporter of Trump early in the first administration, but later turned critical of him about halfway through Trump's first term. He lost an unsuccessful primary to challenge Trump in 2020 and left the Republican Party shortly thereafter, endorsing former President Joe Biden for president. Now, he says this, y'all. I'm still a conservative, but I'm not a conservative jerk. I know what he means by that. Folks who I consider a conservative or not a conservative joke, I'll shout him out here on the show because look, I'm a fan. I got nothing against Michael Singleton. He's a CNN political commentator, Republican strategist. He hosts his own program, has his own platform as well. I think it's called We the Free. We the Free is a streaming great streaming networks. Really, most of the preferences on like 2A Second Amendment things, gun rights stuff. He has it, and it leans with conservative views too. I've always liked Michael Singleton, right? I say all the time, y'all, there are good conservatives out there. There are respected Republicans out there. They exist. I don't hate me. You're like, oh, Arrington, you tripping right now. Look, they exist. Just as much as you see good liberals and good Democrats that exist. But it's a difference from being a, you have the conservative jerks, like a Scott Jennings, another CNN guy, like a Larry Elder. Oh, I got more. Like a who are the conservative jerks? I mean, I guess all of Newsmax, Jesse Waters, Tucker Carlson. All right. There's a few. There's a few. Leo Terrell. Oh dear Lord. There's a number of them. Or you get another good one like my boy Malik Abdul, right? He's a conservative, not a conservative jerk. He's a conservative. Armstrong Williams. Now mine, I'm throwing y'all black conservatives right now, but again, conservative. Hell, Michael Steele is still a registered Republican, even though he hosts his own MSNBC show as well as been on MSNBC for years, y'all. S.E. Cupp, conservative, cool, laid-back conservative. The list goes on. I can continue to stretch it out. Jason Whitlock, just a jerk. He's a conservative jerk, but he's mainly just a jerk. He's a grifter. Anyway, let me continue this. For the past 7 years, I've been on a mission. I'm going back to the quote here from Joe Walsh. For the past 7 years, I've been on a mission to help heal the divide in this country. The divide I helped to create. Decency, tolerance, understanding, empathy. I now get how vital these are to our politics. And there's only one political party these days that values and practices these traits. He said that's the Democratic Party. Donald Trump is the worst of us. Sadly, the rest of the Republican Party emulates his cruelty, dishonesty, and authoritarianism. I totally agree. Now, do I agree that him joining the Democratic Party will help his case? Again, if he's running for office, I truly think he is running for office. That's why he said, hey, look, we got to continue to help build this to get Trump out and this and that. So trust me, he's starting the campaign very soon. Have a look one time, y'all. Let's see here. We're gonna take another commercial break. When we come back, you won't believe who announced that they're leaving the Democratic Party. You won't believe that. You won't believe this, what I'm about to share with y'all. Look, do not go anywhere, my friends. We'll be back. We have a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Jean-Pierre Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JeanPierreLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
You know, just like a winning team evolves throughout the season, so does your beard. I'm Arrington Gavin, proud CEO of Rugged Evolution Beard Care. With our premium oils, balms, and grooming tools, it's everything you need to level up your beard game. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a rookie, Rugged Evolution is the new smooth. Order now and dominate the beard game like never before. Rugged Evolution Beard Care, because every beard deserves to be legendary.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Welcome back. So look, as I mentioned before the break, you won't believe who just announced that they are leaving the Democratic Party. Former Biden press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, who actually worked under two Democratic administrations. She was a press secretary for two Democratic presidents. Recently shared this. Give me 1 second as I find the soundbite to which she had posted, because she also has a new book out. Let me see where there we go. And here it is.
Serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But since I have left, the people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling, and sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this? How do we protect our democracy? How do we protect vulnerable communities among us? What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here. That's what they ask me. And this is my answer. And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. That's what this book does. And here's the truth, and here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes and not be so partisan. And the way that I see moving forward in this space that we're in right now is, if you are willing to stand side by side with me, regardless of your how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community that I belong to and vulnerable communities that I respect, I will be there with you. I will move forward with you. Serving as White House press secretary was an honor.
So here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. How can I put this? You're starting to see so much shakeup after this previous Biden administration, and to the point you almost start thinking like, oh my gosh, were there some right things that was being brought up by the Republican Party during this administration? Oh my goodness, we're continuing to bash them just because of what's out. And were they truth in some of this stuff? Because here's the thing, it's just so sketch. Okay, boom, we have a tell-all book from Jake Tapper, which he's getting a lot of heat because there was somewhat cover up about the declining health of President Joe Biden. Now you see your own press secretary, the person who her job was to make you look great, continue to always defend you. She leaves the party. This article, I can read you a little more in context. This article reported by the Associated Press, former House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Obviously, she was speaking. The soundbite that I share with you is her promoting her new book, and it is titled Independent: A Look Inside a Broken White House Outside the Party Lines. So are you saying that your time in the was it a broken White House that you were in? I mean, come on, like, talk to us now. Talk to us. I just think it's interesting. I think it's quite interesting. All of a sudden she leaves it. Like, you just don't, that doesn't happen, especially at this length of time. Biden has not been out the office more than, I mean, it hasn't been a full year yet since he's been out the office. What are we in? It's been maybe like less than half a year, almost half a year. Says here that I'm reading some of her quotes. At noon on that day, I became a private citizen who, like all Americans and many of our allies around the world, had to contend with what was to come the next for our country. I determined that the danger we face as a country requires freeing ourselves of boxes. We need to be willing to exercise the ability to think creatively and plan strategically. Now, look, is this all a publicity stunt because she has a new book out? After folks that have been working in administrations for the longest, they tend to write books. They become TV personalities, political commentators. They get gigs on different networks, or like I said, book deals or speaking engagements. Like, that's where the money starts rolling in. So is this all a publicity stunt? If so, that's a pretty bold one, because what you're doing is impacting the full Democratic Party. The full Democratic Party. She succeeded Jen Psaki, who was she hosts, I think, the show The Briefing on MSNBC. She's let's see, as of press secretary in 2022. That's when Jean-Pierre first joined this administration. After previously serving as a deputy press secretary, just give me a deputy. I said duty. Ha ha ha. Blooper. As a deputy secretary, and also working as a senior advisor during the Biden victorious 2020 campaign. Now, during President Barack Obama's first term, she was a regional political director. Now, Jean-Pierre was criticized at times for being evasive about Biden's physical condition. Again, she was defending him to the core, like all press secretaries do. We see right now, Caroline Leavitt. I mean, she's keeping her job. It's not like the first Trump administration where they went through, how many did they go through? I feel like they went through like 3, didn't they? Because they had Sean Spicer. Oh man, who was, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the names. I mean, I'm better with faces, but I'm trying to remember the names. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see here. And I'm looking at my time too. First. Let's see. Oh yeah. Who are they? Sean Spicer, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Stephanie Grisham. Not Kellyanne Conway. What was this girl's name? I'm trying to remember who she was. Kaylee McEnany. I think she was one of them. But anyway, Trump went through so many. Biden went through 2. But Karine was she didn't hold back. It was mainly with the more right-leaning and conservative media outlets. She was always getting into it with the Fox News, with a Fox News reporter. I think the last name Ducey, I don't know his first name, but him and his dad are both serve at Fox News. She presents clear arguments and provocative evidence as an insider about the importance of dismantling the torrent of disinformation and misinformation that has been rampant in recent elections, and provides passionate insight for moving forward. Again, y'all, I think what she's doing, it's so hard because I think the big question is she helping the cause or is she hurting the cause? She could be helping the cause by saying, look, really waking up the left's eyes, because let's be honest, Trump's going to do what Trump wants to do. He's not going to listen to anybody, especially someone like her. But now strategists in that case, on leaning left and leaning right, Republican strategists and Democratic strategists can look at it as a we always say you have to do something to gravitate those centrist leaning and independent voters. I had talked about it previously on this program. Rahm Emanuel telling the Democratic Party, look, you have to really, get rid of all the, the wokeness and the lean more centrist, because that's what's going to win elections. Now, is Jean-Pierre helping that case? Again, I just think it's interesting. I think it's quite interesting here. I'm just reading some of these comments here. Pretty vicious. I wouldn't share that on this program, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. We got, in one case, a former Republican congressman leaving his party, being an independent for 5 years, now saying goodbye to the independent circuit and becoming a Democrat. Now we got a long-standing Democrat leaving the Democratic Party, becoming an independent. I just think it's interesting. It's interesting, my friends. It really is. Let me digress from this story here and bring to you another just sickening act from current President Donald Trump. One thing we've noticed here is that Trump is one cold, heartless individual. Am I right? All right. So recently, he had, for one, and this is why I knew it was all just fake. It was all fake news. When the announcement came about former President Joe Biden being diagnosed with a form of cancer, I'm forgetting which. I believe it might have been prostate, but it was a form of cancer. Trump's, is like, on behalf of Melania, this and that, we, keep you in prayer, good spirits, this and that, and the other. Now, this is what he recently had to say. Let me play you the soundbite. Now, after saying all that, which obviously I know the man's true colors, but I just want to play it for you guys to listen.
Look, he's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime, not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry, because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people, Biden. And so I really don't feel sorry for him. Look, he's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime, not a smart person, but
literally, as classy as this guy is, said, if you feel sorry for him, I don't. He continued his personal attacks against Joe Biden when asked about the former president's recent stage 4 cancer diagnosis. He says, while speaking recently, he says, Biden's been sort of a moderate person over his lifetime, not a smart person, but somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry, because he's vicious. He said what he did in his what he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people, Biden. So I really don't feel sorry for him. Here's the thing about this guy. Donald Trump, he starts to sound so, don't he sound jealous of this guy? Doesn't he sound so like, it's just weird, because it's been more than 100 days. He continues to say Biden this, Biden that, Biden. He always goes back. I'm like, dude, stop drooling over this guy. Do you want his number? Do you want me to give you his number? Like, what? Just talk to him. Like, it's so weird. Now he's literally talking about he doesn't feel sorry for. And now look, this should be a wake-up call to those so-called ministers and pastors that support and that back Trump, because right then and there, the guy that you represent that says, oh, he was sent by God and he was such a godly man, he's bringing God back to this, yet he doesn't feel sorry for a man that's diagnosed with cancer. Now, I've said it countless of times. I don't wish harm on my worst enemy. I could have hatred towards him. I can dislike him, but I dare to say I wish harm on that person. That's what's pretty much he's saying. I don't feel sorry that he got cancer. It's like, who says that? The guy that's so-called leading leading the United States, the guy who's in charge, like, it just, y'all, it's just y'all just need to remember these moments when election season happens. And for those who voted for him, I mean, I bet you feel very, 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 very proud to be a supporter of him, huh? I'm just saying, it's just, it's truly sad. It's truly sad. And then on top of that, for those who didn't vote this last election, you should feel 10 times worse, because it's your duty as a citizen to vote. I can care less if you like, oh, I don't care for both of them. Guess what? Then look, you vote for lesser of two evils. Lesser of two evils. So I mean, that's how I feel about that. But coming after the man's saying he does not feel sorry for him, I'm like, wow, yeah, I thought you were, I knew you were the worst, but you continue to get worse, worse and worse and worse. Also, continue my attack spree on the using a figure of speech. I'm not physically attacking. I'm literally just saying, like, look, I'm on my rant right now with the Republican Party. Republican Representative Roger Marshall recently was speaking with Maria Baratamoma. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Some person on Fox News. Discussing the whole cuts, the spending cuts happening with on Medicare, which is, that will be another, because I'm looking at my time. I'm not gonna have time to share what I more about what the cuts are causing. But I mean, when it comes to Medicaid, Medicare, just it's so sad what this is happening. And let me go ahead and share this with you, because this Representative Roger Marshall said some of the dumbest things I could possibly I couldn't imagine a sitting politician can say. Check this out.
Medicaid cuts that are going to strengthen Medicaid and save it for those who need it the most. Medicaid cuts that are going to strengthen Medicaid and save it for those who need it the most. Medicaid cuts that are going to strengthen Medicaid
so how in the world does Medicaid cuts will strengthen Medicaid? You cut Medicaid, but the Medicaid cuts is going to strengthen Medicaid. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. Even Maria Barrett, she's looking at him like, can we cut to a commercial break now? Can we hurry this interview up? Because that man just said Medicaid cuts will strengthen Medicaid. Lord, was it too early for the man? Was that what it was? Was it too early? It's so sad when I tell you this. I'm gonna take this to, hopefully take this to the end here. Because of this so-called big beautiful bill, there are programs that are being cut. Some of the stuff is being defunded. So, funding is not going anywhere. I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's being taken away. Programs, companies that are grant, they run on grants. I mean, those companies, those businesses are closing because they're not receiving any grants because so many freaking tax cuts and spending cuts. I had a incident that occurred to me recently because y'all know I was down in for about a week. I was sick. And I had to, I went to urgent care. They told me to go to ER. In the ER, I took had to take some tests, which I got another conversation about how there's a lot of salespeople well, not a lot, but there's some salespeople in the medical field, which I don't care for because I feel like it was highway robbery, but that's another story. But when I took that visit, did my thing, yada yada yada, fast forward weeks past, my wife gets a letter in the mail and they're like, look, you gotta pay this bill. This is a medical bill. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, we have great insurance, and I think I might talk about it on the show before, I can't remember, but we have great insurance. I'm very grateful for that. And long story short, I called, got it settled. What occurred was a stupid mistake where they got paperwork mixed up, and they're like, oh yeah, your insurance right here, your copay is only $25. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. But I'm like, dude, if I did not have insurance, the moral of the story is if I didn't have that insurance, I would have had to pay almost $6,200. $6,200 and some change. Okay. Imagine those who worked hard, those who are losing their Medicare, their Medicaid. Like, what are we? We're the so-called wealthiest country in the world, and we can't, we're taking away health benefits to your voters, people that help build this country and keep this country running. It's disgusting and it's sad. And this guy gonna say, well, Medicaid cuts will strengthen in Medicaid. Yeah, man, go somewhere with that. It's disgusting, y'all. It's disgusting. If y'all not a believer, it's never too late, because there is a power in prayer. But this is truly sick. Again, I repeat, if I did not have health insurance, I would have had to pay a little over $6,200 for a visit that I did not plan. All right. People are losing. They said it could go up to almost 8 million, between 8 to 10 million people could lose their Medicaid. Most of those folks are the elderly, the ones who need it the most. But hey, y'all voted for this guy. Y'all voted for him. He in there now. He's in there now. What's gonna be the next big thing? We're seeing we're not seeing the fight happen on the left. We're seeing the weak old Republicans, bending the knee and kissing the ring. So what's gonna be next, y'all? Look, my friends, it's about that time. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to continue to tune in and support the program. Peace and blessings. I'll talk to y'all soon for another great conversation here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.